I never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion. Got my statement, and I'm reading it slow so I can understand it fully. Appreciate my stand and go out of this world and right on time. Oh, never in my life have I seen the sky light up like this. I never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion. Got my statement, and I'm reading it slow so I can understand it fully. Appreciate my stand and go out of this world and right on time. Oh, never in my life have I seen the sky light up like this.
All right. Good evening, everyone. You are now watching Primo Modelo TV online channel, and welcome back again. So, yes, this is our about the third live for this month here on Primo Modelo TV, and it's kind of yeah. I would just like to greet Happy New Year to everyone. This is the first month that we had. Happy January to everyone. Shout out to Llewellyn Alfonso. Shout out Ate Mariel. Moi. Parang inad ako nito ni Llewellyn. I just thought so, but I'll check. Hello, Llewellyn. Good evening to you, and good evening to everyone who are watching today. For today's live episode is another new, beautiful episode, but this time it is different, and I'm not going to be the host of this stream. And this is gonna be a special and first panel discussion led by Mariel PRION. So basically, she is the panel moderator of this live virtual panel discussion. So yes, I hope you guys stay tuned and join us together here. I will be not together joining them. I will just introduce these beautiful young ladies all the way from Europe, South Africa, and here from Asia. And hello to John Michael Certeza, the regional director from Albay in Little and Teen Glam, Philippines. All right. And sabi ni Llewellyn, ay, nakita ko na naman si Ate Mia. Ma- magkakilala ba tayo? Parang hindi pa kita na-meet, but I would like to meet you as well in person. No, you are kind of friendly. So I'm excited to see you. I hope wala ng COVID, ano? Anyway, guys, hello to Miss Joyce Santos, our Mrs. Look of the Year World International. And I've been live together with them kaninang 10 a.m. but hindi ako natuloy ng dire-diretso. Parang mga 3 hours lang ako nakapag-live sa kanila. I have special errands a while ago dahil mayroon akong meeting. So thank you so much sa pag-intindi. And happy birthday kay Tito Gray. Miss you, Ate Joyce. Ayan, let's see each other on February 12. Ayan, meron naman tayong get together on Feb 12. Charot! Feb 12 ba? Ayan, yihehe, opo Ate Mia. Okay. Anyway, sa mga gustong sumali sa Fashionista Philippines, they are now open for the registration. Hindi pa sila nagsisimula ng kanilang activities. For now, I'll be speaking Tagalog because this one is for the Filipino people who'd like to join a virtual modeling pageant. So if you are interested on a modeling pageant without question and answer, so this is for you. We are open for Miss category, Mr. category, and also for the LGBTQ group. So that means we are accepting gay people, lesbian people, and that will be for the androgynous category. All right. I will show you a photo of the last winners for the Fashionista Philippines. They are way back from 2016, no? 2017 and 2018. So that is Jeffrey Paulite, the Mr. Fashionista Philippines 2016, si Kai Luis, the Androgynous Fashionista, and si Clarice Giriba, the Miss Fashionista. So if you'd like to join, the details is below. 13 to 35 years old, we are accepting whether you're fat, you're skinny, whether you are short or tall. Actually, merong height requirements 5'2", but I think we will accept 5 flat. All right, just wear 5 inches high heels for everyone who'd like to join. This is open for everyone who'd like to join this modeling competition. Actually, for all these years, the Fashionista Philippines, this is their first virtual pageant. So congratulations, guys, and I hope you do your best. And yeah.
I never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion. Got my statement, and I'm reading it slow so I can understand it fully. Appreciate my standing, go out of this world and right on time. Oh, never in my life have I seen the sky light up like this.
All right, guys, we're back. And while we're waiting for our beautiful panel moderator, that is no other than Mariel PRION, the Miss Teen Glam International 2020. Actually, this month is exactly the month that she will end her reign as the Miss Teen Glam International 2020. And I'm so proud of how far she had been. And basically, her whole reign as an international beauty queen is not that really productive, you know, like what they say, there's a lot of activities because it was exactly where the year where COVID struck the whole world. But I am happy while I'm seeing her activities, her plans and journeys, her advocacies, how she supports and do her best to continue her plans and her dreams. I'm really proud of that lady. And now she's turning 20 this coming February 7, if I'm not mistaken. Happy birthday, Mariel PRION, and we're waiting for you. And time check, it's 7:56 p.m. Here in Manila, Philippines, we will be joining together with other 4 beauty queens from England, Africa, and Asia. So while we're waiting for the panel moderator, I'd like to say to all the viewers out there, please make sure to stay tuned on this live episode. Please do click the share button. And we are live today on the official Facebook page of the Little and Teen Glam International. Yes. And we are also live today, right now, streaming in the official YouTube channel of the Primo Modelo TV and our Facebook page, Primo Modelo TV. Sabi ni Liwilin, ang laka, February po pala kita. Ano daw? Ate Mariel, yes. Happy birthday, Mariel PRION. She's turning 20 and she's no longer a teen. And shout out to one of our YouTuber vloggers, Dato Calvo TV. Hello, Direct. Yeah. Please do subscribe Dato Calvo TV. He is uploading different gaming contents. Yung mga latest ngayon, the PS5 and PS4, Dato Calvo TV has everything. And also a special unboxing with the latest Apple series of the Apple products, right? The iPhone Pro Max 12, I don't know. And they are talking about the new Apple iPhone 12 mini, but they said that the Apple has stopped producing because of the low demand. But anyway, would like a mini iPhone 12. But I am a fan of small things, cute things. But anyway, time check, it's 7:58 at malapit-lapit na po. Later on, we're not allowed to speak in Tagalog because people around the world are now watching with us. So we will be speaking in English so everyone can join us together here. And people can join us by dropping down their comments below or questions. All of your questions will be entertained after the panel discussion. As you can see, our title is the First Queen's Conference led by MARIEL PRION, Beauty and Diversity. Please watch out for the next live on March because it is Women's Month. So the title will be Women Empowerment. Empowered women. So I like that. Anyway, let's play some advertisement before we go on to the special part of this live episode. I'll be back in 5 minutes.
Oh,
All right, what's up, everyone? I'm back again, and now it's 8:03 p.m. here in Manila, Philippines. Mabuhay, everyone! You are watching Primo Modelo TV live from the Philippines, and we will be together with different beautiful young guests, all the way from England, all the way from Africa, and all the way from Asia. And now, as you can see, the Queen's Conference will start in 5 seconds, and the title is Beauty and Diversity. So please, guys, to all the viewers, don't forget to stay tuned and click the share button of this live episode. You can watch us live today on our official Facebook page of the Little and Teen Glam International, Primo Modelo TV official YouTube channel, and our Facebook page, the Primo Modelo TV. So please welcome the panel moderator of this evening, no other than the Miss Teen Glam International 2020, Mariel PRION, the birthday girl. Hello, Mariel.
Hello,
Hello, good
everyone.
evening.
How are you,
All
Ate
right.
Mia?
I am great, but actually I've been kind of sick. Sick. Yeah, I've been kind of sick for the past 3 days because maybe because of my period, the monthly period. You know, the ladies' problem every month, and I kind of have this problem with my voice. So yeah, maybe it's because I'm fatigued. I'm too much stressed, but nevertheless, I am fine and I'm willing to join you here on your Queen's Conference in the background. Yeah,
Yes,
because
thank you so much
for
for being
today
here.
and for this year, you will lead this panel discussion. This is your first panel discussion, virtual panel discussion,
Yes,
right?
this is the first panel discussion because last year we just focused on interviews.
Yes. Correct. And thank you so much to Liwelin. She says, get well at it. Thank you so much. You're so sweet. All right, Marielle, let me ask you first, where did you meet these beautiful ladies who will be joining you tonight?
Actually, through Instagram. I
Instagram,
have met my
again.
friends from Instagram. All the I have interviewed.
Okay, so yeah, so you made friends with them. I can see them on the background here beside on my PC, and they're really ready to join us together here on the screen. So sure. So are you? Do you have any message to everyone before we start your panel discussion and before I leave you guys here on the screen?
All right. So all the viewers watching right now around the world, thank you so much for being here. This is our first virtual panel discussion. So I hope all of you will learn a lot because this is a very complicated podcast. And we have a wonderful speakers with us right now. I'm excited to know them as well.
All right. Thank you so much, Mariel Prion. And I heard you're turning 20 this coming February. What are your plans? Because now you are going to enter this stage of a different life. You're stepping out of being a teenager, being a young adult. And yeah. So, what are your plans?
I will now focus more since my reign is about 17. So I will really put effort and attention in building up my personal life, actually, and academic.
All right. So I wish you good luck. I wish you all the best, Marielle. And I wish you a successful new decade. This is the first decade, the next decade, right?
Yes.
2021. So yes, I'll be leaving you here, and you will be joining together. And please welcome the four beauty queens who will be together with the panel discussion of Marielle Prion. Please welcome Amy So, Paige Ashton, Libby Smith, and AFOLUKE ADEDAPO. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Wow, they are all beautiful ladies. How are you going today? How are you feeling? Let's ask first Amy. So, hello, Amy. How are you?
Good morning. It's
Good
actually morning
morning.
for
Yeah.
us
Good
here.
morning to
All
us.
right. Hello.
Hopefully,
Good morning to your place, and good evening from us.
thank you. And good
Yeah.
evening
Thank
to
you.
you.
Good evening.
Yeah, really so pleased to be here. So thank you.
All right. And Afoluke, hello. I love your name. How are you today?
I'm very well,
I'm very
thank
well,
you.
thank you.
All
How's
right.
the day
How's
to
the day
everybody?
to everybody?
All right. Yes. How was the weather in your place?
Oh, it's
Oh,
good. It's cold.
it's cold.
Was that?
It's cold. All right, just like here, I think the cold weather from the upper hemisphere comes down here like a monsoon. So it's really cold here as well here in the Philippines. So just keep safe and be healthy. And hello, Libby Smith. You are so beautiful. How are you today? All right, but maybe you can use some earphones because we cannot hear your audio, your mic. But it's actually good. So yes, thank you. And last but not the least, Paige Ashton. Hello, Paige. How are
Hi.
you?
Hi.
I'm good, thank
I'm good,
you.
thank you.
All
How are you?
right.
How are you?
I am great. All right, Marielle, I will leave this panel discussion over to you. Remember, we are live all around the world. People are watching. And to all the viewers, once again, I remind you if you have questions, just drop it down below. They will entertain all your questions after the panel discussion. Thank you so much, and I'll be back later.
So, welcome everyone to our very first panel discussion entitled Queen's Conference Beauty in Diversity. Once again, this is the first time that we're going to do this, and I'm actually very excited to hear their points of views and their insights and knowledge about hashtag diversity. So, to get things started, I will first set out some reminders for everyone. The panel speakers are given 5 to 7 minutes to share their insights per question. Number two, for a smooth flow of the talk, the panel speakers will take turns in speaking in this order. The first to speak is Ms. Afoluke ADEDAPO. The second is Ms. Paige Ashton. The third is Ms. Libby Smith. And fourth is Ms. Amy So. And number three, to all the viewers, if you have any questions for our panel speakers, kindly post it on the comments section. Your questions will be entertained later after the event proper. And number four, after the third question, we'll be having a 5 minute break. So all of you ladies can drink a glass of water or do some retouch with your makeup for 5 minutes. And lastly, kindly turn off your microphone if it is not yet your turn to speak, to give way for the speaker. All right, so let's get started. Diversity is a broad spectrum. It actually has many definitions depending on which context you will use it. It can be used for politics or maybe in the workplace. But for today, our focus is beauty and diversity. And we have wonderful and beautiful speakers here with us tonight to discuss their insights about this topic. So, for the first question, what does diversity mean to us, and why do we need to recognize it? Let's start with Miss Apuluke.
Thank you, Marielle. To me, when I looked up the definition of diversity in Merriam-Webster's dictionary, I saw that it meant it was a condition of having or being composed of different elements. In short, it means variety. And as they say, variety is the spice of life. If you think of anything that you enjoy, it's made up of different elements, things like your clothing or even like chocolate. It's made up of different things. So you've got your milk, you've got your sugar, you've got your cocoa, you've got your vanilla. All of this combined together makes something absolutely delicious. In the same way, when you have a variety of people with different points of view, different backgrounds, different challenges, different interests, you can make something so interesting. You can come up with new recipes like they've done in certain countries where we've got a mixture of cultures, like Trinidad and Tobago. There's a mixture of African and Indian and ethnic and indigenous cultures, and they come together and they make some delicious dishes. When we talk about diversity of cultures, of people, of ethnic groups, we can often find common grounds, things that join us together, and we'll find things that make us different. But this doesn't have to be something that separates us. It can be something that makes us so much stronger.
Thank you so much for your insights. I do agree that in diversity, we're also here to recognize each other's differences. And instead of thinking it as something that would divide us, let's think of it as something that could bring us all together. And I love it when you said about the recipes and chocolates. It's very creative that you thought of that. All right, so now let's move on to the next speaker.
Hi. So, I mean, AFOLUKE, that was an amazing start. So it's a tough act to follow. For me, I would say that diversity is, or it means that we understand exactly how unique everybody is. And okay, we can put people into categories of being female, male, many more categories, being Black or white or Asian. And I think it's the more that we recognize that people are unique and they're special, I think it allows us to, I think it makes people realize that we're all unique. And so in being different, it's nothing really. And we need to recognize it because it's so important that we see and understand and recognize people are different, because it's part of everyday life for some people. They are different in their different countries or across in their countries or in the workplace or many other places.
All right, thank you so much for your points of views. And I agree when you said that there's also diversity when it comes to gender and race. And we will tackle more on that later when we discuss about the challenges in promoting diversity in our community. So, Miss Libby, it's your turn to share your insights.
Well, yeah, I definitely agree with what everyone has said before me. I think diversity means, again, understanding what makes each individual themselves and what makes everyone so unique in a way. And diversity is so important. And I think when you recognize diversity, it helps encourage unity amongst us all, and it helps discourage racism and prejudice and judgment. And I think right now that is so important, that we are all united and we really respect each other for who we are and what makes us all different. And again, yeah, diversity is definitely about different people, celebrating people from different ethnic backgrounds and social classes and gender.
I agree with what you said earlier when it also discourages racism and discrimination because it happens around the world and each person has a different story on that depending on where they are and where they are raised and also the community they are in. And also that will be more discussed on the third question later. And for our last speaker, please do share your insights.
Thank you, Marielle. So my input on diversity is like what all of my sisters who have just spoke and have made their input. Really, there's not much for me to add because I feel like they've touched on everything. But I do feel like, like Paige and Lily mentioned, diversity for me is recognizing the uniqueness within a human being. Like we're all different, whether it be our race, whether it be our class, whether it be our gender, or different ethnic groups or our tribal groups. We're all so different, and it's the blending of us that makes it so beautiful. When that is removed and you only have one group, you can definitely kind of recognize the imbalance of it all. And I think we've had a powerful movement here in the UK and in America and probably all around the world during the summer when the Black Lives Matter was going on. And people broke barriers and fought against racism and institutionalized racism. That's just one form of, barrier that is kind of hindering diversity from becoming what it could be. So for me, it's all about breaking barriers and recognizing the uniqueness that is within all of us, whether we're from China or we're from Africa or we're from Europe. It's all about coming together and creating something that is truly beautiful, which is what we're doing here today. And I'm so proud to be a part of it because it means that it doesn't matter where we are. The technologies that we have brought us together, and we're discussing a topic such as diversity, which is tremendous. So for me, it's all about breaking barriers and recognizing the uniqueness within the humanness within all of us.
Thank you so much to our speakers for your insights about our first question. And for Miss Amy, it is indeed true that when we educate ourselves and we get to know diversity more often, and if we have the initiative to really look into it, aside from its definition from dictionaries or from what other people would say, it's really about breaking barriers. And we're all born different, like you mentioned earlier. We may be born different, but it doesn't mean that we are divided or we are all, we should be separated by just because of who we are and where we are from. So instead, to see it as a way for us to connect more and learn from each other to make this world a better place, of course. All right, so let's now dive into our second question. So, for our panel speakers, how do you define beauty and why does it matter? Miss Afoluke, you may begin.
So, to me, I think that true beauty is internal. We know that it's very cliche. Everyone says that true beauty uh, is internal, but it really is. It's the things that you do for others, and it's the person that you truly are. That's what makes you beautiful. In my opinion, I do think that everyone has at least one external striking feature and at least something internal in their personality that really makes them beautiful. I think it's like God's sort of given us like a little sprinkle of his personality, a little sprinkle of who he is in each of us. And I know that it's very, very important for everyone to feel beautiful because it's another part of your identity. It's people want to be accepted, people want to feel loved, and I think that if people feel beautiful, especially for women, it's so important for us to feel beautiful, for us to feel accepted. And when we have just one particular ethnic group that is praised as beautiful above the rest, it can really affect the self-esteem of the other ethnic groups that we have in the world. So I think we're going to touch on this later, but it's important for us to represent all as many ethnic groups that we can in this world so that everyone can see themselves and have a chance to feel beautiful and have that sense of self-worth which they can go on and do and achieve some great things. Because when you know who you are, when you are strong and secure in your identity, then you can do so many great things.
That's very wonderful. And actually, there's this irony that sometimes the things that makes us unique can be our biggest insecurities, right? I think that's what most people would see it because not only of the community or standards in society, but also through the influence of media. I think what lacks in the world right now is representation to bring more people in the front line and to represent their race or where they're from, to give people a broader and wider perspective that beauty is not just this broad standard that we should all follow, but it can always be challenged. Reality can always be questioned and further challenged to give more emphasis on what it could be really for all of us. So for our next speaker, it is your turn, Miss Paige.
So I think mine is similar to what AFOLUKE was saying about having internal beauty. I really think you have to believe yourself that you're beautiful. I think it's easy enough for us to see the media and, well, mainly the media, and think this is the standard of beauty and this is what it's expected to be. I think beauty lies within, because if you don't think you're beautiful or if you don't love yourself, then it becomes like you're never going to think that. And I think it's definitely something I've learned across or across the last 2 years is to love yourself first, and then you can see that you're beautiful. Um, and sorry, you're in your own mind all the time. So I think the more that you speak to yourself well, the better that you're going to see your beauty.
Yeah, and I like how you mentioned that beauty also comes from within. That it's not just something on the outside, but also who you are on the inside, how you treat people, your attitude at work or at school, and your personality. Because as they say, beauty is skin deep, it goes within it. And I think what will make you very memorable to people is not how you look, but how you make them feel when you are around them. And that is very special indeed. So it's your turn, Miss Libby, for sharing your insights.
But yes, I completely agree. I've always been taught as a child growing up that beauty is who you are as a person. It's not just your physical appearance, but it's the actions that you take, it's the way you treat people, and it's your best qualities, it's your kindness. And I also do believe that beauty is subjective and physical beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So sometimes you perhaps may have insecurities and you may perhaps really get down on yourself about it, but those are the things that people find most special and unique about you. So I think you just really have to embrace who you are and what you look like, because that will make you the beautiful person that you are.
Yes, that's very lovely. And I really agree that, beauty is also the thing that makes you different, your qualities that you have, that once you believe that it is very special and it is not an insecurity, it will really change your perspective. And self-love is a process. It doesn't happen right away. And as you go along, you'll get to know yourself more. And the more you get to know yourself, the more that you will see that I can do this. This is who I am, and I love it. I love me. So I think that's what we should all achieve, to say to ourselves, I love who I am. For last speaker, it is your turn.
Thank you. It was really, really good to hear what your definitions of beauty all are. For me, I think beauty is who you are when nobody else is looking, the person that you are when there is nobody else around you, and how comfortable you are within your own skin. I think we live in a society right now where beauty is the standard of beauty is so inconsistent and it's so like forever changing. It's literally like the moon. One day you stare at it and it has a crescent shape, and the next day it's a full moon. So it's forever inconsistent and forever changing, which means that it's really, really hard to keep up. So a lot of us end up like constantly wanting to change that standard of beauty, but never reach it, and feel so bad about ourselves for not being able to reach that. When in reality, we will never reach perfection, and we will never be able to kind of live up to that standard of beauty that society has for us, especially with social media. So I think to have your own definition of beauty is what keeps you grounded, is what keeps you sane. it does not matter what Facebook and Instagram show you on the kind of models that they have. And what I like about right now in today's society in 2020 and what's come out of this pandemic is we have been able to redefine and dismantle certain aspects of the beauty industry and embrace certain body sizes, embrace certain ethnicities and races, and bring them into the light and say, you know what, you're beautiful too, and give them a platform. And so that's something that I'm really enjoying at the moment. And I think your own definition of beauty is what's going to keep you sane when the rest of the world is constantly changing its standards, because we're never going to meet it.
Yeah, and for a very long time, we have let the system define for us on what is beauty, but have we ever asked ourselves, what is beauty for me? What is beauty for us? And of course, all of our answers will be different because, as they say, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So once we question that, once we ask ourselves, all right, this is what the media is telling me, this is what the advertisements, commercials, and magazines are telling me. So what about me? What about my family or friends? Do they have their own take on it? And for our third question, we will actually dive more into that. So in diversity, we all recognize our uniqueness. So here's the catch. How can we promote it in the field of pageantry, the field we are in? And what are the challenges that you are all facing in doing so? So let's start with the first speaker.
Yeah, so this is my first time entering a beauty pageant, but what inspired me was actually seeing other people that look like me winning and being celebrated. And I think for a long time that was the barrier. A lot of African nations didn't really think they could compete because they weren't really winning that much. And a lot of uh, people didn't uh, even bother entering because they never thought they could win or get far. But now we're seeing a change to that. Now we're seeing a lot of different kinds of people entering for beauty pageants and just doing things outside of their comfort zone, which I think is really important. I think the idea of representation, seeing somebody that looks like you doing something that you may have thought about but never thought was possible, it really does influence into you a sense of pride. It's like when you see your someone from your group, whether it's another Christian or if you're part of a social group or even in your own ethnic group, when you see them achieving, when you see them representing your particular group well, it gives you a sense of pride. And that's really important because having that good sense of pride that allows you to celebrate with other people, it once again builds up your sense of identity. And your identity is so important because it drives everything you do. If you have a strong identity, one that's built on the right things, one that's not so fragile, you can do almost anything. So I think that beauty pageants are a way that we can help to build up a good sense of pride, because with beauty pageants it's not only looking good for the camera, it's actually mostly the good things that you're doing for other people, the causes that you're bringing awareness to, the conversations that you're having that will make other people think about what they're doing. That's the most important thing when it comes to the beauty pageant world. So I'm very happy to be part of it.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And I can actually relate to it because when I was a kid, I thought that I cannot, make it in the industry of pageantry because I cannot see anyone there on stage or in the media who looks like me. And when I was a kid, I didn't have anyone like me to look up to. But I think it is beautiful to think that now I could be that person for somebody. And I think that it explains for all of us. I think all of us can relate to that, that We're here not just, for the fame or to be recognized, but also to tell people that if I can do it, you can do it too. And that's why our current Miss Universe, Miss 𝐂𝐍'𝐒, I really feel so inspired by her. She's an amazing woman. And like what you said earlier, that in pageantry, we're not just there for the physical looks or to be good in front of the camera, because when you are a beauty queen, you are also a spokesperson and an ambassador for the people. So yeah, it's very beautiful, and thank you so much for sharing your insights. So for the next speaker, please, it is your turn, Miss Paige.
So, so for me, I find that beauty pageants are definitely today we see a lot more diversity within the competition, and I think that's so important because, like you said, Mariel, w- we need, or it's good for young girls and even everybody to see themselves up on the stage. And I think it's so important that people are represented and they're represented in the right way um, across all the different competitions. And I think it's great to see that, say, Miss World or Miss Universe, they, I guess for me, Miss World is Jamaican, and that's part of one of my um, ethnicities. And I think it helped propel me into thinking maybe I actually can do this. And again, it's the idea of if I can do this, so can so many other people.
Yeah, that is true. And like you said, the industry is currently evolving, it's changing, and there are more people getting into it because they're very much more encouraged now than ever before, because they're seeing a wide variety of women and men who are entering this industry. And that is giving them hope that I can do it as well. I can go here and try, and who knows, I might be the next winner. All right, so Miss Libby, it is your turn.
Yes, from here in the UK, I definitely have seen a massive change in the pageant industry. It here in the UK, I know for sure is definitely becoming a lot more inclusive. I know there are many plus size pageants, there are male pageants, there are pageants for married women. So everyone is really being inclusive, and I think that is incredible. I believe that anyone should be able to enter a pageant, and I think pageants give so much to people. They can give confidence, and I think in the topic of diversity, everyone should be included and be able to walk on that stage and feel incredible.
Yes, I agree on that. And actually, it's very nice to see more categories coming in, because before, if you notice, the biggest pageants are always Miss Universe, Miss Earth, Miss International. But now we have Mr., Miss Teen, Mrs. We have for single women, single men, up until who are married. And there's even actually a pageant for the elderly. There's actually a pageant for them as well. So it's very wonderful to see that they're also given a chance to speak up about their points of views in life. And so our last speaker is Miss Amy there. Is she still with us?
Oh, hi.
All
Sorry,
right.
I didn't realize. Um, so thank you for sharing all of your insights. I always genuinely love hearing what everybody else has got to say. But yeah, for me, like I touched on before, and what everybody else has said, I just love the diversity and how everything is coming together. It is a shame that it's taken as long as it has to kind of get so much inclusivity, sorry, and also diversity within kind of like the big platform pageants like Miss World and Miss Universe. I am really, really happy to see someone, like AFOLUKE said, someone who looks like you win something so big, because it fills you with a sense of pride to go, you know what, if he's done it, then most certainly I can try. If, I can try, even if I don't win, if I don't get anywhere, at least I'm trying to contribute. I'm contributing to something. So it really fills me with a sense of pride to see the likes of Tony Singh win Miss World in 2019, and also the current Miss Universe as well. It makes me feel happy, and that's the reason why I feel like our pageants, our national pageants in England. It's great that they've decided to open up a heat for us. It's category for us, for all African colours, for women from ethnic backgrounds to join. I think it's beautiful because it allows us to represent the nations and our nationalities and our communities more authentically. Who better to represent the community that you come from than yourself? I think it's truly tremendous, and I just can't wait to see what else that we've got in store in order to encourage the next lot of generation to kind of go, you know what, it's not just about beauty, it's also about the charity element, it's about the sisterhood, it's about brotherhood, it's all about the community building and what we can do for others in order to kind of uplift each other. And it's that shed off that old skin and start to regrow new skin that is filled with more energy and that is filled with, you know, another purpose that benefits the generation that it's for. So that's what I'm very excited for, because currently we're in a movement and it's just heading somewhere so great. So it's quite nice.
Yeah, and what strikes me the most from your answer is the statement diversity of thoughts. So it's not just the way we look or how we act, but also how we think. And you said that through our thoughts being diverse and somehow these thoughts are coming together and it's giving us even more wonderful and great answers about diversity in itself. And I think that's what pageantry does for us as well, because in pageantry, it's a big gathering of people from around the world. You're all in one stage, you're all in one place, and then here you are sharing each other's insights and points of views in different matters. And I think that through this virtual panel discussion, we're also kind of doing it the same, but you know, even if we're not together in person, but at least through this online panel discussion, we're being able to do so and fulfilling this purpose. So, all right, to all the viewers, we'll be taking a 5-minute break. We'll be right back. So, to all our speakers, you may drink a glass of water or get some biscuits if you want and do some research with your makeup. So, please, you may turn off your cameras and you may mute your microphones. And we all have 5 minutes.
right, everyone. Hello, good evening, and I hope you are enjoying the show. And I hope to all who are watching today, please do share this live episode on your Facebook page, or please do subscribe on our YouTube channel and share this live episode on your social media accounts. And yes, thank you so much to all viewers who are watching today. And if you have questions, guys, please do stay tuned and drop your comments down below. We'll put it on the screen so these four beautiful ladies will answer it later. And while we're waiting for them to come back, I would just like to say to all the viewers, especially the Filipino people and Australian people, if you happen to be living in Sydney and Melbourne, or if you happen to be living in Manila, Philippines, we have this Fashionista Philippines 2020 ongoing, and we have this Fashionista Australia 2021. The difference is the Fashionista Philippines will be doing their modeling pageant virtually. So that means all the activities, the competition will go into online, and it will be judged online, and the premier final night will be online. And for the Fashionista Australia, you can message the Facebook page Fashionista Australia for those who'd like to join. 13 years old to 35 years old is welcome. For 19 and below, please have your parents' consent, approval, and send it together with your details if you are going to register and join. We are accepting Miss category for female, and for male, Mr. category, and for the LGBTQ family, we are accepting for the androgynous category. So everyone is welcome, whether you're fat, whether you're skinny, whether you're short, you can wear 5 inches heels high. That will makes you taller, or whatever you are. If you love modeling, or if you are new in the modeling industry, you should try to compete. Maybe you will be the next Fashionista Philippines 2021. Winners will receive 50,000 pesos worth of prizes together with the crown and sashes, and they will have exclusive invites for the international, both local and international events of the Primo Modelo Philippines. We all know the Primo Modelo Philippines have the worldwide beauty pageants, fashion shows, and events. So yes, and hello to everyone. Guten Abend, Miss Miranda Sotejo from Germany. Hello, Madame. Thank you so much for watching today. And yes, I'll be going back again to my usual spot in the background. And let us all call on to our panel moderator. Hello, Mariel PRION. Good evening.
Hi. We have returned
All
after our
right.
5 minute break. So
Oh,
how is the
yes.
discussion
5 minute break.
yeah.
For me, I loved the discussion. You guys share different perspective in your own opinions. That is why this live episode is truly should be watched. No, should be watched. Truly recommended to watch to all the viewers out, especially to all the young females. Maybe not young females, but I would like to generalize all the ages as well, because we are talking about beauty and diversity. So that means we're talking about what do you
Everyone.
see beauty in your own eyes. As you mentioned, that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And I agree with Paige Ashton. She said a while ago that if you're feeling not well with yourself, if you're not if you're not looking yourself as, hey, I'm beautiful, then it's not gonna be. You're not helping yourself. So that means it all starts in yourself, within yourself. So I hope everyone out there, all the viewers, could get some beautiful messages, tips, and advice from these beautiful young ladies. So let us call on once again, the beautiful ladies from England, Africa, and Asia. Hello, Miss Amy So, Paige Ashton, Libby Smith, AFOLUKE, and yes,
Hi.
I'll be leaving right yous out there, and let's check if there are questions for you to answer later on, guys. Bye.
So welcome back, ladies, for the second part of our panel discussion. So now we're about to become much more personal. This will be about your lives and your experiences. So to start off, I think this question is very common. I'm sure you've heard this multiple times in pageantry. The question, why did you join pageants? What is the reason why you're here? So let's start with that. Why did you join beauty pageants and what are the challenges? Did you encounter any problems or issues when you tried to enter the industry? Let's start with the first speaker.
Thank you, Marielle. Yeah, that's a very common beauty pageant question. Why did you join? In short, I joined beauty pageants because I want to see women of color win. Uh, when I first started watching beauty pageants, I saw Deshauna Barber, who's a dark-skinned African American winner of Miss USA in 2016, and then and before that, I saw Nina Double Hari, who was the first Indian American winner of Miss America, and then I saw our own system, which is Dr. Basha Mukherjee, and she was one of the few women of color to have won that competition. Her background is Indian, and she also had different elements to her. Like she's currently a doctor as well. And after I saw her story and all the other women's story, I just thought to myself, "Oh wow, that would be amazing. Perhaps I could go for that as well." So I entered actually back in 2018 and no 2019, and I just also decided to enter in 2020 because I didn't get anywhere the previous year, but somehow we stumbled into our particular heat, which was open for us, all African colors, and that's quite interesting. It's unique because it's run by women of color for women of color, and in our particular heat there's so much diversity in terms of ethnic background and also just interest. Nobody really does the same thing. Nobody has the same interest, and that's so. It's lovely to see because I learned so much from each of my sisters. They're all really supportive. They're really kind. They're really sweet. I get messages from friends and families and they ask me, "Oh, are they horrible people? Is it always a fight?" And I tell each of them, no, there's no fighting at all. In fact, there's so much support. There was times when I didn't have a dress and I texted all the girls and they messaged me places to go. Paige even helped me to look for dresses for our finals, and my heart was so touched by that. That is so kind. So I think the idea of beauty pageants has really opened up to me. It's not just about looking nice and taking pictures, although that is a perk. That's something that we all like to do. It's about that bond. And for me, in this competition, if I can come out with good friends, if I can strengthen these relationships, that's way more important than winning a crowd. So, yeah. Also, I want to talk about a little bit about diversity in the UK. It's getting more and more celebrated, but it's always been there. And for the fact that Miss England is having different ethnic backgrounds celebrated now, because of all the situations that have gone around in the world, this really makes me proud, and it makes me proud to be English and African at the same time. And they don't have to compete with each other; they can coexist really nicely.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And I agree with you when you said that in pageantry, it's not competition at all. When you get to know your co-candidates, you're also bonding with them and you're forming this unbreakable friendship. And just a quick share, when I entered the internationals, I get to be with people from different countries. And it's amazing that we're all able to have a very strong friendship despite coming from different countries, and the language barrier is real. We actually use Google Translate just to communicate with each other. But the friendship is genuine and it's real. So even if we have different languages and backgrounds, we're all still getting along. And shows how beautiful, diversity really is when it's there in front of you and you're experiencing it. And through pageantry, I've seen that it's not a platform wherein you will compete for the crown, but it's also a platform to get along and to prove to everyone that, hey, we can all get along well if we will just try and if we're all willing to do so. So thank you so much to Miss AFOLUKE. Let's now move on to Miss Paige.
Thank you. Cool. So for me, I first entered into I had entered into Miss England because I wanted to increase my confidence. I've always had a lack of self-belief in myself, and I think through doing this competition, it's really helped to put myself out there and to feel a lot more confident within myself. And and I think this going back to the self-love thing, it's so important that you love yourself and you're truly happy with yourself. I think also to touch on what Natalie said about see or representing. I guess I also wanted to do it to represent myself, but I guess people of my colour, because I think we don't really see enough, or we haven't seen enough people of our colour standing up on the Miss England stage. So I think it's really important that we make sure that we become the first in a long line of making sure that happens.
Yeah, that is very true. And I love it when you said self love. I think that can be a good hashtag for this talk, hashtag self love, not just hashtag beauty and diversity, because it's all connected though. Because if you cannot love yourself, if you cannot accept yourself, then how can you promote diversity when it is all about that? It is grounded and rooted in self love. So if we really want to appreciate and promote diversity at its core, we must first love who we are and celebrate each other's uniqueness. So, Miss Libby Smith, it is your turn.
I think it's amazing hearing all of your stories so far of why you wanted to get involved in pageantry. So, I first entered my first pageant in Miss Teen Great Britain 5 years ago. I was 14 and I had no idea, frankly, what I was entering into. From a young age, I've always grown up watching pageants, and I remember just seeing all these incredible women, and I just knew that I wanted to be exactly like them. So, when I first entered my pageant, I think one of the challenges that I faced was I had a misconception that pageantry was all just about physical beauty and that determined who the winner was. Excuse me. And obviously now, being in the industry for 5 years, I know that it's so much more than that. It's how hardworking you are, what makes you a role model, all the fundraising and all your platform work, and it's all those things that make a winner and a title holder. And these 5 years have been the most incredible 5 years of my life. I've gained best friends. I've been able to travel all across the United Kingdom, making appearances, raising lots of money, doing all sorts of things, from walking up mountains, all crazy things that I would have never dreamed of doing unless I'd first entered a pageant. So I think if anyone is watching this and is thinking, oh, I really would love to do a pageant, but oh, I don't know, I don't have confidence. Honestly, do it. I promise you, you will have the most incredible time and you will leave that pageant. Even if you don't win, you will have gained something so special from entering.
That is very true. And when you said change of perspective, the phrase alone really has a big impact on this entire talk because we are here to share each other's perspectives and points of views. And so far, I think we are fulfilling that. And that matters the most for me in this entire discussion, the change of perspective. So after this talk, it is not just the viewers who will have their own insights, but also us as well. But after this talk, I'm sure that we have all learned something from each other. And that is beautiful in itself, and it is something that we can carry and share to other people in the long run. And so lastly, Miss Amy, it is your turn to share.
Thank you. So for me, the reason why I joined, first and foremost, hearing just all of you guys' stories, and in particular Afaluke's, it made my heart like it made my heart jump because I was like, oh my God, that is so true. We're in the competition together, and I'm so glad you feel like that. But for me, the reason why I joined was, again, representation. It's something that I did theatre studies at university, and it's something that lacked in a lot of the plays that I saw, in a lot of the things that I witnessed and I was creating, and it really frustrated me. And when it came to beauty, it was something that, again, I felt like it lacked. And so when the opportunity arose for me to be a part of Miss All African Colours, I felt like it was an obligation to do it because I was in the front lines in my own community, organizing, Black Lives Matter, organizing Black Lives Matter protests and stand up to racism protests. And so when this came along, I was like, no, I have to take part. I felt like it was my duty to take part and to at least try and represent myself and the communities that I come from, because I'm not only British, I'm also African, I'm also Fulani, which is my tribe, I'm also Muslim. So I've got all of these different identities enmeshed into one person that I felt like they needed to be seen. And like Paige said, the Miss England stage has lacked, certain women of colour up until now, where we have Dr. Mafi, who is the current reigning Miss England, which is amazing. But I feel like we need to go a lot more than that. It's not just about having the one person and you stop at that. It's about going, how far can we go with this, and how authentic can we make it? If it's about representation, then we truly don't need to stop at one person. We need to give each and every single girl, regardless of what class they come from, because money is also a big part of this. And also, regardless of what race or what religion they come from, we give them equal opportunities to stand on this stage and to fight, not fight, but to compete for the crown. And also to compete for the beauty of the perfect element, which is so important, because it's all about kind of empowering the communities that you come from, but also working with the charity of your choosing, which has been so important for me because I came to the UK as a refugee, and so my Beauty with a Purpose was all about giving back to the refugee and asylum seeker community at home. So I fundraised for them, and it's something that I was so proud to do, and something that I've wanted to do for such a long time. And I was so happy to do it with this platform, and to give them the exposure that they needed and also wanted. So it's definitely about that. But another thing that Paige mentioned, or something that myself and Paige quite often talk about, is about this element of sisterhood. We're quite well connected and we really enjoy our friendship, but we also want the same thing. It's about competing, not against one another, but like we're also competing for the same thing. And so that's also quite strange because I want each and every single one of my sisters to do well in this competition. But likewise, I want to do well for myself. So it's always quite strange, but I'm so happy that regardless of the competition, that I'm able to have made friendships with FINALIST and Paige. I can say that, and such a strong friendship that regardless of what happens at the end of this competition, I know that I will have sisters for life. And I'm so happy that I have smart sisters and hardworking, ambitious sisters alongside me. So it doesn't really matter what happens. I'm just happy that I've come this far.
Yeah, and what you said earlier, it is very powerful when you mentioned that in pageantry, we are here to be in the front line. So instead of saying that we are volunteering, it is a voluntary choice for us to be there in the front line to show to people what we are capable of and why we're all here in the first place. And that is because we all have our own advocacies, our own purpose, and our own stories to share. And of course, those stories are all different because it is personal. It is something that you experience, and I'm sure that others are going through it as well. But what will make it different is how you face it. And when we share those stories, we can inspire other people that, oh, okay, if she was able to do this, then maybe I can try it or do it as well. And that is very impactful, at the same time empowering. And so we're now diving into the last question for this panel discussion. So 2021 is the beginning of a new decade. On the bright side, humanity has progressed in terms of embracing and celebrating diversity. So for our panel speakers, why is it still relevant to discuss this topic and reintroduce it to the people? So first speaker, you may begin.
In my opinion, I think that diversity has made us as a global nation because we are so different. We have different qualities, we have different interests, we have different challenges. When we share what makes us different with each other, we can benefit from that. We can learn so much. I'll take the example of food again. When each culture shares their food with the world, everybody gets to enjoy. Like pizza is one of my favorite dishes. It comes from Italy, but they've shared that with the world. They've taken that to America. America's done something different to it with it because they got different ingredients, different people living there, and they made it just something that many people can enjoy. I think over the past year of 2020, we had our Black Lives Matter uprising, which was very popular across the world. We've seen that the inequalities that we have that were that we haven't addressed, we've seen those come to light, and we need to continue addressing these matters. Let us not make this a one-time thing. We need to keep addressing it every day. We need to keep understanding that we are different, but that's good. That's not a bad thing. Uh, these issues of discrimination, they've taken generations to really embed into people's way of thinking. So it's going to take a while to get it out, but we can get there if we keep addressing it, if we keep recognizing our need to be different, if we keep understanding why diversity is a good thing. It pushes us forward. It makes us accept each other. It gives us new ideas, and it ultimately makes us stronger as individuals and stronger together. Oh, well, yes, diversity is really important still for the year 2021 and 2022 and all the years after. Uh, so yeah, it's uh, it's really important to keep embracing that, keep acknowledging that, and keep enjoying the benefits that we've had from diversity.
Thank you so much. And also diversity, this definition alone, it is also evolving over time. So even if you're in a new decade, it is still important to keep on sharing it to people, because as we evolve and go through in life, we also encounter new experiences and new perspectives that we could share to other people as well. So it is your turn, Miss Paige.
Thank you. So I think AFOLUKE has really answered that question well. And I think diversity is so important, again, because it helps us to, I guess, with our uniqueness, we come together to create something different or to change the way that it's been done before. I think after last year, it's really important that we see people's diversity and we celebrate it and we continue to keep doing that, because when we've seen we've seen it on the other hand where people are trying to make sure that diversity does not happen. And I think it shows, like, I think for a lot of people, they were shocked last year because it shows that people still don't want diversity around them or to be part of the world. And with how the world's going, it's so important that diversity is a is something that we keep going forward with and we keep celebrating it and seeing each other's uniqueness and differences. And I think in 2021, we have to continue doing that. So if it's speaking up because someone's made a racist comment, or educating people on different pieces of diversity, on culture, or on something that they don't understand, we need to keep going with that.
Yeah, it is true because even if you are now in 2021, there are still people out there who has little knowledge of what diversity really is. I think usually they would just, search on Google, what does it mean? And then there's this definition from Wikipedia that will show up to tell you what it is. But in reality, there's so much more to it. If you talk to other people, if you engage with them on what it is, then I think that it will change their perspective. And like what Miss Page said, that it begins when you speak up, when you become the voice of it. And that's why it is very important here in pageantry that we become the voice of our own causes, because it brings a new change of perspective to all the people in their community and the world. So, Miss Libby, it is your turn.
Yes, so I think diversity should continue to matter always, not just through 2021, but through the hundreds, thousands of years that are yet to come. I think that we can learn so much from each other just through talking and, again, celebrating cultures and what makes everyone unique. And especially with the times that we're in right now with COVID-19, I think it's so important that we are unified and we are all acting as one to all be, unified to get through this pandemic. And again, with everything that's gone on last year, I think like all the amazing panelists have said, we need to listen to each other and people need to speak up if there are injustices and just people, unfortunately, being very small minded to opening up to diversity. People should speak out, and so we can help create better education for people that don't understand what is going on. So I think diversity is being more celebrated, and hopefully it should continue to be.
That is very on point. And actually, when you said that we should listen to each other, the word listen is the key in understanding diversity, because there is a difference between hearing and listening. When you just hear a person, you're just hearing what they're saying, and then after that, what now? I just heard it, but have I really understood it? Because when you listen to every word he or she is saying to you, little by little, you will understand what they're telling you. And so, to all the viewers watching right now, I hope you're not just hearing us out. I also hope that you're all learning something from it. You're listening from the panel's perspectives, from the moderator and the host, because right after this, the purpose of this entire discussion is to engage with all of you and to teach you that there's more to us, there's more to diversity. And now let's move on to our last speaker, Miss Amy.
Thank you, Marel. Yeah, I think, you know what, the word diversity is so beautiful. Not only have we had a dance group in the UK won a competition, I believe it was Britain's Got Talent called Diversity, and they were amazing. That's besides the point. But the word itself is so beautiful, and like you said, it's forever evolving. So in a couple of hundred years' time, or in the next 10 years, in the next 5 years, it might mean that we have to reshape our understanding of diversity. We have to figure out what it means for the next generation ahead. So I feel like it is just like what Libby touched on. It is forever. You are forever going to have to listen and want to understand, and also just kind of like Afaluke's metaphor of sharing, understanding. So continuing that shared understanding and just kind of going ahead with it. So it's not just about stuff at 2020 or 2021 and going, we've made a few changes to the pageant industry, so we'll leave it at that. But it's about being real with that kind of with that point, and going ahead and spearing ahead for the next 5 and 10 years, and thinking about what we could do in order to make diversity more diverse as well, so that everybody in this world is represented and the barriers are broken, and that we're seeing other people for their humanness as opposed to their difference, and how different they are towards us. So just continue learning about each other and each other's cultures. Personally, for me, I absolutely love traveling, and I feel like it's one of the best ways to learn. If we were all able to travel, I know that not everyone is able to do that, but we have the power of technology, so we're able to connect and learn more about each other. So I feel like that's positive for all of us to learn and embrace each other's cultures and understand and kind of share and exchange skills and knowledges from different corners of the world. And it's not just about the kind of the top countries, it's about all the other countries that might not be on the global stage. So it's about that and giving those people a chance to say their piece and understand their cultures and celebrating that and embracing that. So that would be tremendous if you could all do that in the next, forevermore, not just in the next 10 years, but forever. That would be lovely.
Well, thank you so much. And my key takeaway from what you said is the word share. It is very important to share our experiences and insights, and of course, how we understand the word diversity. Because if we get to share it to our community, to our country, and to people from around the world, that will spark change on how they think, how they perceive it. And when that happens, it will also give us a sense of redirection in our actions and how we face it. And in doing so, we're going to make this world a better place for everyone because we're giving each other the chance to see and to believe that there is really something much more to us than just being human beings, but also being here to make this world better for everyone. And for now, since we are done with the event proper, to all the panel speakers, would you like to share your learning from this panel discussion? You're all given 5 to 10 minutes to share your realizations and learnings. So let's start with Miss Afoluke.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you so much. Uh, I have learned so much during this panel discussion. I've seen different perspectives from each of these beautiful sisters, these wonderful queens. And for me, some of the things that have stood out have been beauty, the concept of beauty, who you are. I think Ami said, when nobody is watching you. That really struck me because it's, I think in life, it's very easy to put on a persona or a mask when you're out in the world, especially. But I think with this time of social distancing, in this time of quarantining and lockdown, uh, it's good for us to reflect on what makes us beautiful, on the person we are when we're not in front of all of our friends, all of our family, the person that we are by ourselves, and trying to accept that, as Paige said. Um, I also learned a bit more about the idea of diversity, how it's very important for us to continue to push it forward, and it is the meaning of it is very individualistic. It's not one thing fits all. It's changeable as well. Um, yes, so that's what I've learned today, and yeah, I'm grateful for that.
Thank you so much. How about to Miss Page? What are your realizations and learnings from this panel discussion?
Thank you. So it's been great to be on this panel because I think while we've all touched on slightly similar answers, there's also different perspectives on how to look at things. So for me, definitely what Libby said about with competitions and pageants, I don't think people understand how much work goes into them. And possibly a message that I need to push out more is that it's not just about being or looking beautiful. It's about what you're doing. Is about what you're doing for the world. So all the different fundraising you're doing, or using your platform to make sure that people are understanding certain messages, or just changing the perception of different ideas that people may not understand, or they may think otherwise. And then definitely what AFOLUKE was saying about Ami saying about how beauty is how it's important to be what beauty is, and how it's within yourself, but also when nobody else is around. I think it's important that, again, we feel that we're beautiful regardless of what the media says or anything. But I think it's also really important that it's, as many of you touched on, it's about the beauty within, and it's not skin deep. It's also what you're doing to help others, and making sure that you're compassionate and you're willing to support others as well.
Well, thank you, Miss Paige, for sharing your insights with us. And now let's move on to Miss Libby.
So I'd just like to say it's been incredible to be on this panel and talking to you all and sharing all our thoughts and opinions. I say it's been really eye-opening to learn what diversity means to each of you individually. I know it's been really educational for me. And I think it's been really interesting to hear all your perspectives on pageantry and how it's growing in being inclusive. And again, with the idea of beauty, I think it's incredible that you all have your own personal definitions. I think that's really important, that we all have our own personal definition of beauty, because beauty is forever changing and beauty is subjective. And again, like you all said, it is on the inside, that is what matters. So I've took so much knowledge and from this panel, and just thank you all for sharing.
Thank you so much, Miss Libby. Let's now move on to Miss Amy. What are your learnings and key takeaways from this panel discussion?
Thank you. And I hope you can all hear me, because I've taken out my earpods just because they're dying. So I hope that you're able to hear me and my audio isn't coming across very bad. So yeah, hope that you can hear me first and foremost. But yeah, thank you so much for inviting me to this. It is through connectedness that I've been able to be a part of this. It's, you know, AFOLUKE gave us the opportunity to be a part of it and connected us to MARIEL, who was able to invite us to this. So thank you for you know, the connections that have been formed, which have resulted in this. So thank you so much for that. It's been such a insightful discussion. I've taken away a lot of new things, but I've also I'm gonna walk away with my viewpoints on diversity confirmed, because I've always had these viewpoints and I've always kind of thought maybe they weren't right, but actually saying them out loud to you guys, and in knowing that you guys, you know, also feel the same way and have similar thoughts on diversity, has made me feel a lot more confident in my own definition of it. But also I'm going to go away with a new perspective, you know, with the metaphors that AFOLUKE has so beautifully provided for us today, and also Paige's self-compassion approach to it all, and Libby's insight into the beauty pageant, and from her perspective as a person, as a white person, that has been quite insightful for me. And I'm sorry to point that out, but I think it's really quite nice to hear them, and I hope that you take that as a compliment and as not as something that's negative at all. But it's been really insightful to hear your opinions on what you think about the beauty industry, and in particular the pageant industry, and your initial thoughts and how it's evolved, and the amount of work that you've put into all of the things that you've done, in particular the Beauty with a Purpose and the charity work, which we all know is not easy at all, because there's a lot of behind the scenes work that goes into it in order to make it appear what it is right now for everybody else on social media and in real life, and to succeed within the competition. I've also enjoyed just hearing why everybody has entered beauty pageants and what they hope to achieve for in the future, you know, with their titles or with the platforms that they're a part of. It's been truly eye-opening, and it's made me feel a lot more confident in the reasons why I'm here today, and it's affirmed my place as well, And I definitely feel like I can go away with a message for a lot of young girls and older girls and people in my community about beauty and about diversity. And it's made me feel a little bit more confident to speak about what I'm a part of, and also the sisterhood that is that has a shared goal in inspiring others. So thank you so much.
And thank you so much as well to all of you, the panel speakers. Thank you for accepting our invitation for you to be here for the first ever virtual panel discussion, Queen's Conference Beauty in Diversity. And before we end this virtual panel discussion, we'll now be having the Q&A. So if the audience, if you have any questions for the panel speakers, for all of us, you may comment down below. Ms. Mia Gusi, can you share with us if you have any questions for the panel? Okay, so here's the first question. May I ask, as a human being or as a beauty queen, what are the things that you can do to save our environment? All right, so who would like to go first? Anyone can speak first. Just kindly unmute your microphones.
I don't mind going first if you.
Oh, sure.
Okay. So definitely for me, I know. So I was doing a walking challenge to raise funds for my charity. But I remember I was walking through the parks and I saw a lot more. I think with COVID happening, I think it's so important that I'm getting ahead of myself. I saw a lot of litter from where people are using the parks to go and get coffee at the weekends, and they're using that as their thing to do at the weekend. And I think it's important that we use our platforms to promote the idea of having not having single-use plastics or single-use cups. It's important that you take if you have if you're going out for coffee, you should buy one that you can take with you that can be like a takeaway cup, and also recycling and making sure what you're buying is recyclable, because I think we are still in a generation of where there's a lot of plastic around and we need to get away from that.
Yes, that's true. And it's a fact that by the year 2050, there could be more plastic in the sea than fish. So just imagine there'll be more waste in the oceans and all the fish species combined. And now we're here in a pandemic. I think that will be accelerated to an earlier year. Maybe not just in 2050 or maybe as early as 2040, right? Because we still don't know what this pandemic, how will it end or what will be the outcome of it. But what we could do as people is to start small, take it step by step. And like what our speaker has mentioned, you can bring your own reusable cup or bring your own tumbler. And if you can, go strawless. Don't use any straws at all if there's no need to, right? So how about for our other panel speakers? Do you have any additional answers to the first question?
Yeah, if I might add, I think Paige's point is very, very good, and I definitely agree with it. I think what you've also just touched on there, Meryl, at the last point where you were saying it's about what you can do individually. So even though, all of us, maybe our world leaders and the people that are in charge of our countries right now do not see it as a prominent problem and they aren't dealing with it right away, what we can do individually is, little things, maybe reduce the amount of things that we buy that are stored in plastic containers, and even our beauty products, as we're on the topic of beauty, maybe buying from a company that is, that is animal cruelty free, first and foremost, supporting the brands that are, that are kind of on that agenda, and also that are using less plastic to kind of store their products and to sell their products in. That would be phenomenal if we all kind of had that mindset and were able to go into stores and express that. My little sister, who is 11, no, she's 13 now, sorry, she's 13. She is very, very passionate about climate change, and what she did when we during the pandemic, the first lockdown, we created a little campaign for her to take into school for when they reopened, and to not challenge the board, but also to just kind of raise awareness and say, look, I'm passionate about this issue. How are you able to support me? Maybe we can have more recycling bins, or maybe even, you know, just creating kind of like having cups that aren't plastic, or having bottles where we don't have to buy bottles and bin them every time. And as they did actually end up getting kind of reusable drinking bottles that they all got given at the end of the summer, which was really, really good. I'm very happy to see that. Another thing that I was able to do during my Beauty with a Purpose is partner up with WhatsApp, who are a charity that it stands for World Against Single-Use Plastic, and their agenda is to kind of educate people. So I think one thing we can do, just like my little sister was able to do with her teachers, is take it into school and educate them, and also act upon those things that we've been educated on. So what I want to do in my community is litter pick and involve maybe communities that have been marginalized, and work with the probation officers in my community, and get those people who are in a stage where they've gotten out of jail and they're trying to figure it out, to educate them, and also to help litter pick around our community. That's one way of doing it, and cleaning out canals is another action that we've got. So there are plans in place that we can all do individually, and we can do within our own communities. If one person starts it, you'll start to see a ripple effect, and so I think that's something that we can all begin doing today, and kind of helping fight that, so that the world doesn't just collapse and we're watching it, which is what's happening right now. So yeah.
I agree on that. We cannot just sit around and watch all of these events happening around us. If we can actually do something, no matter how small or big, at least you will be able to inspire a person out there, or your family and friends. And when you do so, like what she said, it can create a ripple effect, or in other terms, the domino effect on people. And then they will just naturally follow on your footsteps. So I think that to all the viewers watching right now, if you have any activities that you can do, even if you're just indoors, that can help save our environment or our community, please do so. Thank you so much. For our speakers, do you have any other additional answers, or shall we move on to the next question?
I would like to say something if I could.
Sure.
I think that those points are amazing. Being aware of the use of plastic is very important. And I was just thinking, 2040 isn't very long away. We'll still be quite young then. So I think we need to condense it down and think on an individualistic level, seeing what we can do as an individual to reduce our waste. We waste so much, and we really don't need to. So if we can make that step by perhaps turning off water, maybe not using so many plastics, also looking at this type of merchandise that we buy, the clothing that we wear. It's very popular to wear a lot of fast fashion, but that's not very good for the environment, and also the people who are sewing the clothes. We're not sure if they do get paid enough, and in many cases they are too young to be working such long hours. So if we can make the little changes to become more sustainable in our lifestyle, I think that would really help the environment.
Thank you so much. Does anyone else would love to answer the question with their own insights, or are we going to move on to the next question? Because we have 5 more questions. Sorry, all good? Shall we proceed? All right. Here is the next question. This question is for all of you girls. How do you feel sometimes when other people talk about your skin color, or let's say accents on how you talk or how different you look? And how do you handle those situations? Please feel free to answer. Who would like to go first?
I can go first.
Sure.
First and foremost, I don't necessarily see my skin color and my accent, although I'm not, like, I wasn't born in Britain. I had to learn English when I was 11. And I don't necessarily see my accent or my skin color as a negative thing. In fact, I love being in the skin color. I genuinely love it. I love being in the body that I was born in, and I love the accent that I have because it's a story. I get often told that I've got a very distinguishable accent, and I don't know I don't know whether that person means it as a good thing or not, but I take it as a compliment because for me it tells a story. I am in amalgamation of all of these different, like I said before, of a different tribe. I come from a different country, and I'm living in a particular area in a community where I have lots of Asian people around me and a lot of Black Africans around me who are I pretty much live in an immigrant society community. In my immediate community, there's a lot of us that are first generation immigrants, and so my accent is a result of communicating with all of those people. So I love having the accent that I have today, and I'm based in the north of England, so that means my accent, if you go down to London where some of the people here are based, you'll hear that we sound kind of different, but I love that we sound different because it means that, like, we all have a story. So the way I would say you should handle it is embrace it, accept that your skin color is something that you're never going to be able to change. And if you were to change it, why would you? Even if you could, why would you? It's so beautiful, and I think it's amazing that you were born with the body that you were given, and it tells a story. It tells a story of your ancestors. It tells a story of for your kids in the future if you want to have them. And your accent is basically where somebody can tell where you're from. I love being able to communicate with someone from the north or from the east of England, or someone from Liverpool, which is still in the north but sounds very different. I love being able to kind of tell where other, kind of communicating with other people and figuring out where they're from. So genuinely embrace it. That's what I would say. It's not a negative thing at all to be different. In fact, it adds to the diversity of the society that you live in.
Well, thank you so much for your wonderful and insightful answer. So who else would like to answer the question? Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Mia Gussie, for this question. When people used to talk about my accent, it used to really annoy me. Actually, I got quite upset when they would point out the Britishness of my accent. But what changed was when I realized that it's whatever accent that you have, whatever your skin color is, it's a gift. It's something to be celebrated. It's something that is unique to you. It makes you different from the rest. It makes you stand out. People may make fun of you for the way you speak if it's different, or if and in some cases they don't. Sometimes people get made fun of if their English is not perceived as good enough. But I just want to encourage you and say that just don't mind them. You have to really embrace the accent that you have. Yeah, you can work on becoming a better communicator, but don't ditch your accent. Don't ditch the way you look. Just embrace how you are, and remind yourself that it's okay to be different. It's what makes you unique. It's part of what makes you beautiful, and it's part of what makes you you. So it's something to be happy about. You don't need to feel inferior because you are amazing. So
Thank you so much for sharing your beautiful answer to all of us and to the viewers. I hope that I was able to answer your question, Miss Mia. So who would like to go next? Since it is a question for all of us, so all of us had to answer.
Can I just say that when I was younger, I unfortunately, when I was in school, I was bullied, mainly for the way that I look, in the sense that I would get told by multiple girls that I was unattractive, I was ugly, I had been told that I was fat, I'd been told I was too skinny, and all these kind of things I know can build up in a person's head and lead to really bad mental health issues. And that's unfortunately what I had for a very long time, and I never really dealt with those situations. I'd never understood why people were criticizing me. And I think if people are judging you for your skin color, your accents, all the things that make you you, unfortunately that is just them projecting their insecurities onto you. And just do not listen to them, because at the end of the day, all those things, they make you who you are and they make you unique. So you need to learn to embrace them and just do not worry about what anyone else has to say, because you are living for you and that's what should matter.
Well, thank you so much. How about our speakers who haven't answered yet? Do you have anything to
I
say?
think it's just me left, and I think the other panelists have answered this question really, really well. I know for myself, people in the past have commented and said, "Oh, I didn't expect you to look like that because of your accent, or because of the way that I speak." And I think it can get in your head sometimes. And again, it goes back to loving yourself and understanding that you are you, and other people can't or shouldn't really comment on you, but they will. And it's about not listening to them and loving yourself and understanding that you don't have to change. You're great, as AFOLUKE said, you're amazing as you are, and that's all you should be going through life with.
Thank you so much to all our panelists. And since I'm the last one, so I'll answer the question. In my experience, I can actually relate to Miss Libby because I too experienced bullying when I was in high school. And most of the reason why they would do that is because of how I look. And that gave me plenty of insecurities. It was one of the toughest chapters of my life because I doubted myself and my self-worth really decreased to its lowest point. But what made me overcome it is by looking for the things and qualities in myself that makes me special. Like for example, my hobbies and my abilities in other fields, and that's what I focus on. And throughout time, I'm kind of embracing myself. It is still difficult, throughout those years because I think the reason why it's so hard for many of us to love ourselves is because of our very own insecurities that are coming from what other people are saying about us. And I think how we can face that is by eliminating those statements from them. It will never define who we are because at the end of the day, it is us who will define ourselves because this is our body, this is our features, and it's beautiful to think that we carry the features of the people who came before us. Like what Miss AFOLUKE said, we carry the features of our ancestors and the fact that they were able to live out their lives in the past. So why can't we live now, right? Now we are now in the present and we are more diverse. We have technology, we have social media, and that's giving us plenty of platforms to tell people to love who they are and to accept who they are as a human being. So we all have our own stories, that's a fact. And thank you so much, Miss Mia, for the question because I get to hear all of their experiences, and that made me feel that I am not alone and that we're all in this together. We're all facing this. And as we go on with our lives, after this panel discussion, it's wonderful to believe and to think that even if we're from different countries, we all have a common experience. And now moving on to our third question. Are you willing to use your platform in convincing people to take the COVID vaccine? Many people are afraid of this due to lack of information. Who would like to go first in answering the question?
I'm happy to go first.
Sure.
So I think it's important for us to use our platforms to, I guess, to convince people to take the COVID vaccine. I think it's also important that we give information on the vaccines. and the right information, because I think in this day and age, especially in the media, things can get misconstrued, and it makes people worried, especially if there's lack of information. But if there's information that's incorrect, it also then will make people reconsider having the vaccine, or just trying to understand exactly what's happening. So I think it's really important that we use our platforms to educate correctly, as well as encourage people to have the vaccine, and to continue making sure that they're not mixing. So making sure that even though they've had the vaccine, or if they're going to have the vaccine, that they continue to have this, I can't remember what the exact word is, but to make sure that we're still doing, it's not self-isolating, but making sure that we're staying 2 meters away from people, and making sure that we're not going back to how we would perceive life as normal before all of this started.
Thank you so much. So who else would like to answer the question?
I can share my input.
Sure.
I think. Oh, is anyone else speaking?
Please.
Yeah. Okay. I think that it's important to for us to realize that knowledge is power, and knowing the truth about the vaccine, as Paige said, that will set you free. That will ease your worries. So yes, I think it's important for us to uh, make people aware through our platforms of the importance of the social distancing, and actually perhaps spread information about how the vaccine works. I think that if people know how it works, and know what you have to do in between your 2 jabs, I think that will ease people's worries, and convince more people to consider taking the vaccine, because at the end of the day, it is a personal decision on whether to vaccinate or not. But if we can share accurate information, as Paige said, I think more people will be encouraged to go and vaccinate.
Thank you so much, and I agree on all of your answers. So who else would like to share before I share mine? Does anyone want to share their insights on about this question?
Yeah, I will just very quickly. I'm not sure that you can see my camera. I don't know what's going on. But I think I'm not sure that anyone can see me. I can't see myself. Tech issues. God love technology, right? So my input on this is I feel like I definitely agree with every single one of you, Paige, AFOLUKE, and yeah, I think it's about information that is correct, that is passed on to the people. But I also think we have to understand the apprehension that communities have about this vaccine, and in particular communities that are ethnic minority communities, and the reason why they're apprehensive about the vaccine, and kind of understanding that perhaps their apprehensions come from a deep-seated, insidious history that they've had, and how can we make sure that they understand that this vaccine is actually a positive thing for everybody and will help us reach our goal to coming one step closer. I'm not sure that I can actually see anyone anymore. Everyone's frozen on my screen. But yeah, it's about understanding that, and also building trust with those communities, and really understanding their apprehensions, and sort of making sure that they're safeguarded, and making sure that they have the right and accurate information that is able to help them make an informed decision as to whether to take the vaccine or not. And that's my input on that one.
Yeah, and how about you, Miss Libby? Do you have any insights to share for us? And thank you so much to all our panel speakers. I know that these kinds of questions may be a bit sensitive to people because we're talking about the vaccine here. This is a whole new different topic other than just diversity. This is about health of the people itself.
So yeah, I mean, I definitely think that at the end of the day, taking the vaccine is very personal to the individual and it is down to the person's choice at the end of the day. However, I do think if we are, fortunate to have a platform, the most and the best we can do with it is use it to give as much information about the vaccine and COVID and to just keep reminding people how important it is and just to keep reinforcing all the guidelines so people have as much information as they can about what is going on in the world right now.
Yes, I really agree on all of your answers. And for me personally, I think the reason why people are having second thoughts in taking this vaccine because it is something new. COVID-19 is new. It is a new type of virus. It is not something yet that we have encountered throughout the years that we are living. And even if a pandemic is not common anymore because it has happened in the past years. In 1918, we had the Spanish flu, I think, if that was the right term for it. Yeah, in 1918, we already had a pandemic and now it's happening again. So it's not something new, it's in history. But I think the reason why we're all doubting it is because we all have our own opinion on it. We all have our own beliefs regarding it. But the people should differentiate myth from facts. We should separate those two categories. There's a difference between on what you believe and what is accurate and scientifically true. So for the people who are watching right now and to the viewer who asked the question, I think that in order to separate those two categories, as Miss Afoluke said, knowledge is power. And so for you to achieve that is you need to do your own research. Go outside social media, go beyond media itself. Um, Dive deeper into the topic. Don't just believe everything that you're reading because in this day and age, we're all prone to fake news and misinformation. So it's best to do your own research from reliable sources to make sure that you will be well knowledgeable about this situation. So once again, thank you so much to all our panel speakers. And Miss Mia, do we have another question from the viewers? Okay, so how would you set yourself as a role model to the youth nowadays when it comes to beauty? Who would like to go first to answering the question?
Am I okay to go first? If that's all right.
Sure.
So I think it's a lot of, I guess, showing yourself without makeup and showing your true self, because I don't think, I guess, social media and the media, everything, a lot of this day is filtered. And, you know, when you post pictures, you might tweak bits here and there, or you just tweak the brightness and I think we need to get away from that. And I think to become a proper role model to youth, they need to begin seeing people with natural skin and, I guess, natural beauty in the way that pictures are just taken of us without, say, me having makeup on now, but without makeup on. And I think that's really important because I guess we are caught up in a society where we believe what we see is the true view of people, but it's really not. There's all this makeup, which I think can also confuse people because then you're thinking, how are they so blemish free without, um, with, I mean, some people are blemish free, but I think it's important that we show our true, I guess, our true skin and encourage people to love. I go back to loving yourself. It seems to be the thing I go back to, but it's so important that you love yourself and you love the skin that you're in. And I think that's how we need to make sure that we use our platforms to encourage the youth of today because it's so important.
Well, thank you so much for answering the question. Who else would like to share their answers? Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Miss Marielle. Um, that was a great point, Paige. I think that it's we can be good role models for the youth in terms of beauty by being authentically yourself. I think that people they really relate and can resonate with someone that they believe is truly being themselves, and that's what we all want to see. I think that's why some of the most popular movies, like Spider-Man, did so well. It's because Spider-Man's just a simple boy. He's just ordinary, and we can sort of see ourselves in the ordinary, and that can really give us a sense of pride. It makes us feel like, oh, if they're being themselves, they're partaking in the activities that they like to do. Because when in terms of a role model, it's not just the way you look; it's the things that you're doing for society. It's how you relate to family, friends. It's doing well in different activities that you've chosen, or even just trying them new or showing a different side. Like certain people from a certain group don't have to be just one way. I'll take an example for Black people. There's not one way to be Black. It's so broad. It's anything. It's part of who you are, but it's not everything. It's one part that we need to celebrate. And for the youth, I think it's important for them to see, especially Black role models, doing well, um, and being authentically themselves and showing different sides to what it means to be from a certain group.
Thank you so much for sharing your answer. How about Miss Libby? Do you have something to share with us?
Yes, so I definitely agree that to be a role model, you should 100% make sure that you're being your authentic self, because then people are truly seeing you for you and who you are. And I definitely think social media, unfortunately, there are a lot of negatives. I think when youth are on social media, again, you can see all these Instagram models who are, flawless skin, flawless bodies, and it can be quite damaging when people are looking and scrolling on social media and thinking, oh gosh, why don't I look like that? But you have to remember that social media is not real, and I think as role models, we need to be reminding ourselves and others that what you see online is not real. We all have our imperfections. We all wake up and sometimes our skin isn't looking the best, or we have a bad hair day. It's normal. We're human beings. So I think as role models, we really need to remind everyone that it's not real.
That is so on point. I agree with that. In social media, the problem right now for many people is that they view social media as the actual reality of the human race. They see it as a platform that showcases 100% our entire lives. But in reality, it's not, because not many people post on Facebook or Instagram their own personal struggles or their problems and the issues that they're facing in life. We don't post it usually, right? It's social media. Usually we post photos of our travels or our success stories. But what we don't usually share on social media is what happens behind the scenes, what makes us human beings, the struggle, the chapters that we haven't shared to everyone. And I think that is something that we could all start off as of right now. As beauty queens, as people with this platform, it's very important to show to people how it means to be authentic and real. Because in my own experience, I encountered people who would criticize me with how I look, and they would say that, are you willing to undergo like enhancement or change something with your face? Because they would say your face is too wide or your face is too square or something like that. And my only reaction to them is I will not change anything with myself, because if I do, it would just defeat the purpose as to why I'm here in the first place. It would just defeat the reason why I entered pageantry. I came here to show to everyone that we don't have to look like the standards that society has set up. We'll always be different. And it's beautiful that here in this discussion, we get to prove that, we get to show that. It's beautiful to be different. It's okay not to look like everyone else, because if we all look like everyone else, then how will we learn? Is there really more to life if we all just look the same, right? How can we have new perspectives? How can we have new lessons when everything would just be the same? There's no this and that. It's gonna be all the same. And so, to the youth who are watching right now, and the people listening, as beauty queens, as title holders, what we're doing is we're all giving you a different perspective on what beauty is, and that's our mission right now to the youth. So, how about to Miss Amy? Welcome back. I think you're having connection issues.
Yeah, I am. Gosh, it's just not great right now. But yeah, I kind of missed out what the question was. Would you mind just repeating it for me? I have heard a little bit of what Libby had to say and yourself, but I'd just like the question so that I can answer it more directly.
Okay, so here's the question. How would you set yourself as a role model to the youth nowadays when it comes to beauty?
I think that's a great question. Thank you to the person who asked it. Personally, for me, I'm in a position, I'm quite fortunate to be in a position where I work with young people on a regular basis, and that way I'm able to share my story with them on a consistent basis, because I'm constantly presenting and constantly talking to them about my past and how I've come to be where I am today. So I'm a graduate advisor for a government funded project. So a lot of the work that we do is about giving young people information. So sorry, my nephew. So it's all about giving them information, and in that I'm able to come with a message to say, look, I started off this way. I didn't basically start walking this earth the way I am today. I've had to work on myself a little bit. I didn't know English when I first came to the UK, and I was able to still go to university and achieve certain things and achieve certain milestones and be authentic with that story. Like you said, Meryl, it's all about being authentic and being real with them and not so sugarcoating everything, and being real with them that actually there is a lot more to life than, like Libby was mentioning, living on social media and taking that as face value, because when somebody is to do an Instagram live, they probably do their makeup 2 hours in advance and cake themselves up with makeup. Or when they're about to film that story, do you know how edited it is? Do you know how many filters they've probably applied on that? And we shouldn't take this as face value, and we should take it with a grain of salt, like we say in England, and and realize that actually this is not the whole authentic truth. There is more to this person than how they look right now. There is more to this person than that current moment that they're in. So I'm really fortunate to be working with young people on a day-to-day basis. I work with 10 different schools across my area, speaking with the young people on a regular basis and telling them my story and giving them little messages to go, I did it this way. You don't have to do it this way. You can have your own path to kind of success, whatever you make that, whatever success means to you. So for me, it's constantly looking back at my past and seeing, okay, humbling myself, going, I didn't start off this way. I didn't start off the way I am today. I've come through a lot of different struggles, and in those struggles I've taken little lessons, and it's amounted to the person I am today. And I'm still going to go through a lot more battles in the years to come that will make me the person I will be then. So it's about kind of bringing that message in every single session that I do with them. So yeah, that's the way I do it. And I hope that resonates with everybody that is listening as well.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all of your answers. And according to the host of this stream, we have one more question. And the question is, how do you see yourselves 5 to 10 years from now? Well, that's very personal. Who would like to start? Please feel free to share.
I don't mind starting. I would love 5 years from now to have a career that is not necessarily successful in everybody's eyes, but is successful in my own eyes. I really want to go into education and teach young people. That's something that I want to do, and I want to give back my knowledge, and I want to work with them and find out more.
Episode.
No, sorry, my nephew's here. He's always with me, so sorry. What's the word? So I wanna be able to have that career that I want, to work with young people, and also have possibly a family of my own in 5 years' time, and still being able to do the charity work that I'm doing right now, and possibly working on a different campaign. And as for 10 years from now, you know what? I'd be happy if I'm alive and healthy and with my family, and I've got a job and I've got a roof over my head, and I'm providing for the people that I care about, as well as giving back to the community that I come from, and giving back to a cause that is worthy, of giving back to. So I think all causes are worthy, but a cause that you know is close to my heart is something that I'd like to have. I don't have a definitive. I don't want to dive deep into the intricacies of it all, but that is kind of like the baseline, and I hope that's insightful.
Well, thank you so much. So who would else like to share? Oh, please go ahead.
Should I go? Oh, me. Okay. So in 5 years, I see myself having graduated from my law degree and being a successful solicitor. In terms of pageantry, I can see myself still competing, and with my personal platform, I raise awareness and education for children who have speech and language difficulties. It's something quite common in the UK here. A lot of children, it's 1 in 4 children, will suffer with speech delay. So my personal campaign is all about raising awareness and educating others on how to recognize it. So I hopefully see myself in 5 to 10 years having got recognition from the UK government, and hopefully getting some more laws and better funding for schools. And I just want to be happy, healthy, you know, whatever is intended for me will happen. So I just want to have a good life.
Well, good luck on your law studies. We wish you the best on that and be successful. Thank you for sharing. So who would like to take their turn? Please just turn on your microphone. Yes, you may go.
Hello, everyone. That's a very loaded question, as they would say. I have so many different ideas going on in my head, but I do want like family and good career, all the same things that everybody else wants. But ultimately, I would like to become a playmaker. And if you've ever seen the High School Musical movies, has anyone seen that before? There's this section of the movie where they say their orchestra lead is their playmaker, and that's the person that helps everybody else look good. So basically, that's the one that mentors them, that makes them shine. That's what I really want to do for in all aspects of my life, in my career, in my family. I want to be that person to make other people shine. I'm personally interested in the field of healthcare, even though I don't currently work in that field. I would still like to advocate for that. I come from a family that's into healthcare, a family of doctors. They do work in sub-Saharan Africa as well, trying to build the hospitals over there. And my own Beauty with a Purpose project is Equip Africa, which is helping sub-Saharan African nations to build up their healthcare system, because the healthcare inequalities between hospitals in sub-Saharan Africa and in the UK and Western countries is quite shocking. So it's something that I would still like to continue to advocate for in whatever way that I can. And also perhaps highlighting the inequalities in medical care for certain groups. So there's a lot of what they call as medical racism. So certain ethnic groups it's more apparent in the UK, but it is worldwide. They don't receive the same amount of care as other groups. And that this is for a multitude of reasons. It's because some of the healthcare professionals are not able to see the signs of deterioration in darker skinned people. They just can't see it. They're not taught to look for it. So that person dies because they don't know there was something wrong with them. So it's things like that. Creating more awareness for things like that would be a dream come true, so we can eventually get to a place where that doesn't happen anymore. It's a thing of the past.
Thank you so much for sharing your insights and, of course, your advocacy as well. That's very wonderful to hear that you really do care for your people, even if you're living there in the UK and you're still extending your reach to them. That's very wonderful and nice to know. So, does anyone else like to share their answer?
I'm happy to go. So I definitely, in 5 to 10 years, I think my main aim is to be content and to be happy with the life that I have. Definitely within work, I probably see myself having or being more financially, as in I work in finance. Well, I work in financial technology. So I definitely want to build on my financial acumen and hopefully become a finance director at some point. But I definitely also want to, so my beauty with a purpose, or my main focus on my platform at the moment, is looking at mental health and trying to break the stigma that surrounds mental health, because I think, I know it's been touched on a little bit during this panel, but I don't think people don't see mental health in the way that we should see it. They see it as an issue, or it's like something that it's not a topic we should bring up. And I think it's so important that we continue talking about it, but also that it's normalized, and it's like just having an illness, or just like having a cold. And so I hope that within the next 5 to 10 years, I can also help to bring that into schools a lot more and into education, because I don't think we understand mental health in the way that we should. And I think that comes down fundamentally to the idea that we've never been taught about it, and it happens to us, and we kind of have to understand it as it's happening to us. So I want to go into schools to ensure that every school is being taught the same on mental health, because I think there will also be if schools are teaching it in dribs and drabs, then some people are going to know loads about mental health, some aren't. And I think it's really important that we all come onto this playing field level, and making sure that mental health is a topic that we understand, and we're able to help people when they need help, not just or before they need help, not when they actually need it or they're at the edge.
Thank you so much for all your answers. And actually, while listening to all of you speaking earlier, there's this one thing I realized for all of us is that not only is diversity just in beauty or how we think and how we behave, but there's also a diverse calling, you know? We all have different advocacies as well, and that's a part of diversity. There are people who advocate for mental health, people who advocate for other people, for the environment, and my part, I advocate for the environment. And to answer the last question, I see myself 5 to 10 years from now as someone who has graduated from a master's degree. And actually, 5 years ago, when we ask ourselves this question, it is so easy to answer it. You know, when we were kids or in our preteens, it is so easy to answer it. Like, where do you see yourself 5 or 10 years? Oh, I'm gonna be a lawyer, or I'm gonna be an astronaut. But as time goes by, as you get older, that's changing, and it's becoming much more difficult because you begin to realize that there are so many factors that you have to face when you go older or as you go on with your life. And that changed my perspective because 5 years ago, when someone asked me the same question, I just told that person, I know I'll graduate college, I'll be happy, I'll be, I don't know, I'll be working, I'll be in an office or something like that. It's a very common answer for so many of us. But of course, it can be very special depending on how you feel and perceive it. But as for mine, since we're going through this pandemic, it changed a lot, you know. So in 5 to 10 years, I see myself as someone who is fulfilled, and happy. I realized that happiness really matters more than anything else. You don't have to be rich. You don't need to have this very successful career like what society wants you to have just to be happy because you can define your own happiness just as we define what beauty is. And yeah, for me, 5, 10 years, I just want to be happy, and at the same time, I'm still fulfilling my purpose in life, which is to advocate for the environment. So once again, thank you so much to all our panel speakers for joining us for the very first virtual panel discussion entitled Queen's Conference Beauty in Diversity. And to formally close this virtual panel discussion, I would just like to elaborate once again the key takeaways from this, oh wow, 2 hour talk. I didn't expect that it would last for 2 hours. Okay. All right. So even if we were here for 2 hours speaking our insights and perspectives on diversity, I believe we can all agree that diversity has multiple meanings. It's not just one person. We cannot just depend on one person to define what diversity is for us because it is different for every person out there from all around the world. Because as human beings, we don't think and feel the same way. We all have our own views, and I think the people should listen to it. We should not see it as something that should separate us, but as something that can unite us by understanding each other. Because in diversity, that's where we get to challenge the current societal standards. Through diversity, if we have a keen knowledge and understanding of what it is, then we can challenge the system, we can question it, and we can redefine it in our own terms, in our own ways, by sharing our stories, by doing activities and projects, by reaching out to people, virtually through this discussion, because since we cannot do it in person, so might as well do it through social media. And in diversity, it's not just about the way we look, it's also about how we think, feel, behave, what are our passions in life and advocacies. We all have our own calling, and that makes life even more meaningful because through our differences, we get to connect with people who also has that same perspective as yours. And if that happens, we can have a wider and bigger discussions on different issues aside from diversity. So thank you so much to everyone for coming. Thank you for your time, for accepting the invitation. I hope that we could have more discussions in the future. And if things will get better, I hope that we can all meet in person someday. So thank you so much for being here. And I would like to call back Miss Mia Guti, the stream host. Hi, Miss
All
Mia.
right, everyone. Hello, and congratulations to your first panel discussion for this year, guys. And you made well. And a lot of people are saying, especially here on our comment section below, and they're happy to hear. Mostly from all these girls, especially from these beautiful ladies in front of us, Libby Smith, Amy So, Afoluke, and Paige, and of course our panel moderator, Mariel PRION, the Miss Teen Glam International 2020. And I believe you had just signed off in your reign for this month. And a happy advance birthday to you, Mariel. And I wish you good luck. I wish you all the best on all your the journey that you'd like to go on through, the path that you choose to do. And so yes, so I guess that's all. And do you have any message before you go off the stream, guys? Maybe Afaluke, maybe you first. would you like to tell any message to all the viewers out there who watch us today?
Oh, thank you. First of all, I just want to say thank you to Miss Marielle for setting this whole up. Thank you so much to Modelo TV for giving us the opportunity to discuss this. To the viewers, thank you so much for watching, and I just want you to be encouraged to accept the quirkiness that you have, accept the things that make you different. Embrace where you come from, wherever it is, just celebrate it. Even if the whole world says it's not very good, know that it's great because you came from there. It made you, your ancestors came from there, and it's something to be proud of. It's something to embrace. Also, for our viewers as well, for when we're looking into the future, let us try and behave as we want to be then. Now, so that when we get there, it's not going to be so difficult to achieve the things that we want to achieve. So it's something for us to think about. Just if you want to be a role model, start behaving like a role model now. Whatever you want to do, an artist, start painting, even if no one sees it. Just keep doing that. Keep having that perseverance, and just be encouraged.
All right. Thank you so much, AFOLUKE. And Amy, would you tell anyone, to all the viewers out there, any message you'd like to tell them?
Thank you so much, first and foremost, to Meryl for inviting us onto this panel, and thank you to the network for allowing us to have this time and to really say what we thought. It has been so productive, and it's been great to hear everybody's viewpoints. One thing that I would say is, you know, forever, never stop learning, forever continue learning and sharing your story with other people and sharing where you come from with others, and never stop that, because it's through the sharingness that we learn about one another, and then we also begin to embrace and accept one another. And know that another person's struggle is not their struggle alone. If you have the ability to help them in any way, shape, or form, do extend your hand and help them, because you never know what position you may find yourself in. And, you know, we owe it to ourselves to help one another and to share things that we have learnt with one another, so that we can keep expanding. And know that beauty, like Libby said, and like everybody else touched on, is subjective, and it is in the eye of the beholder. And you look at yourself in the mirror every single day, you can tell yourself that you are beautiful. And remember, beauty is more than what is out here. It's also about what's in here, and it's also about, you know, who you are when nobody else is watching you. So remember that, and I hope, you know, you're able to walk into the future a little bit more mindful of yourself and mindful of the people that are around you as well.
All right. Thank you so much, Amy. And Libby, what is your message to all the viewers out there?
So I'd just like to say a quick thank you for this opportunity, for be able to share my thoughts and opinions really quickly on this network. It's a huge honor. So for all the viewers out there watching, I just want you to remember that you need to embrace everything that makes you who you are and what makes you unique, because people will notice that about you, and that's what people will appreciate. And again, like all the girls have said about beauty, beauty is skin deep. So do not get all worked up on the physical beauty of things. Always remember it's what you are on the inside that matters.
All right. Thank you so much, Libby. And the last one, Paige.
Yep. So I again want to say massive thank you to Marielle and also to the network. It's been a real pleasure to be on here, and it's been so insightful as well to get everybody else's opinions. I guess my comment to the viewers is love yourself and the rest will follow. I know that even for myself, it's been a journey to fully love myself, and some days I still struggle with it, but I think the more you love yourself, the more you can, like, you'll glow and you'll get through your life. And I think, like Amy said, when you can help other people, it's when you can help other people, or if you get the opportunity to help other people, I think it's so important. And you never know how much you're going to help someone until you extend that arm out to them. So, yeah.
All right, thank you so much, ladies, for the Queen's Conference Beauty and Diversity. And to our panel moderator, thank you so much, Mariel Prion. And Mariel, as ending this stream tonight here in Manila, Philippines. It's evening, Mabuhay Philippines. Good evening, everyone. If you are watching overseas, please do stay tuned and click the share button of this live episode so we can reach more people out there, and hope these ladies reach more young, beautiful women out there who are experiencing this beauty and diversity topic. All right, Mario, what is your message, everyone?
Once again, to all the panel speakers right now, thank you so much for being here with us. I know that we planned this like only 2 weeks ago, but still we're able to come up with this successful discussion. And of course, to Miss Mia Gusi and the Primo Modelo TV, thank you so much for having us once again. And it's great to have this very first panel discussion with these amazing women. You know, there's really never a dull moment during this entire panel discussion. It was so inspiring, impactful, at the same time empowering as well. And I've learned so much from all of them. And to the viewers who are watching, thank you for sticking around, even if this lasted for more than 2 hours. Yeah, so even if we extended for an hour, I'm so glad that there's still many of you who are watching and who stayed tuned with us. Thank you. And even if my reign will come to an end soon as a Miss Teen, because in a few weeks I'll no longer be a teen, but I'm still looking forward in continuing this panel discussion segment here at Primo Modelo TV in the coming months. So stay tuned for more because it's on its way.
Yes. All right. Congratulations, ladies, on your Queen's Conference panel discussion virtual here on Primo Modelo TV online channel. And for me, as the mainstream host of this Primo Modelo TV, I'd just like to thank these young ladies out here, these five beautiful ladies. We have Paige, we have Marielle, we have Libby, we have Afoluke and Amy, all the way from other countries. Thank you so much, guys, for spending your time here for more than 2 hours. And you shared your thoughts and insights, and hopefully to reach other people on the message that you'd like to bring to them. And anyway, I wish you good luck and good health and keep safe always. We're not yet finished. We're not yet off with this COVID pandemic situation. So I just pray that all of you are in a safe yes, safe place and a good health. So anyway, Mariel, I think that's all for today. All right. Thank you so much, everybody, to all the viewers out there. We wish you God bless and a happy New Year. And thank you so much for joining with us together here on our live. You can replay this live episode after we end this stream. Thank you so much and goodbye, everyone. All right, guys. Oh, yes. And congratulations to Maria. She's really beauty and brains. I totally agree with Miss Leia Lana. She says, wow, now, wow, Mariel, way to go, beauty and brains. Yes. And yes, as I end this live stream for tonight, thank you so much to all the people who never ever forget us, especially Sir Lito Calion of Manila, Philippines. He's a legendary photographer. Thank you so much, Sir Lito Calion. And Miss Anne Ornido Prion, thank you so much for your unending support to Primo Modelo family. And as well, I will never forget Miss Joy Axe Santos of the Santos Squad YouTube channel and the Joy Axe World. And of course, she is the Mrs. Glamour Look of the Year World International 2019, representing the Philippines. Thank you so much, guys, for bringing it an honor to the country of the Philippines. And also, thank you so much to Liwilin Alfonso for joining us together here. To Sir John Michael Certeza, thank you so much. And yes, I will no longer to mention you one by one. I would just like to give my full support and thank you, my full gratitude. And tomorrow is a special day because January 25, birthday ni Miss Tina Paulite. Happy birthday to Miss Teen of the Coach Nayla Salon and Spa. And thank you so much for unending support on Primo Modelo. Kahit na it's already been years. Thank you so much. And to all the people who are still unproductive until now, I still hope and I still pray that this 2021 would be a great start year off for this new decade for all of us. I know that 2020 is not that really nice, not really good for every one of us. Many people uh, just had their suicide, and many people lost their jobs, having financial problems, and closing big negocios and businesses. So still, this 2021, as long as we're living, we still have hope. Let's have faith in the Lord. In Jesus' name, God bless everyone. And once again, my name is Mia Gusi. If you happen to pass by the Fashionista Philippines, guys, do not PM me directly, so your message won't be hindi matatabunan. Okay? So message nyo po, Fashionista Philippines. Their finals will be on the end of March 2021. For now, they are open for registration until now. So that means they're still open 13 to 35 years old, female, male, and LGBTQ. So there's 3 different categories separated for all of you. Maybe you will be the next Fashionista Philippines and represent the Philippines in the upcoming Fashionista International. So good luck, everyone, and God bless. Bye.
I never made it, but I know